I want you to talk about your new seminar that you've been presenting and what's it about, and put a little promo in there. If anybody's watching this who wants to host her, we'll put her contact information there. So
yeah. All right. So I come from, I was never a hot agility person, but I did agility for a long time. That was like the thing I loved to train. I would always go to clinics. That was the sport I really liked. And my agility guru is a guy named Bud Houston. He's in Ohio. And Bud is, first of all, is brilliant mind. And he sees everything. All the like handler stuff. Like he could see that when you were gonna do your front cross, that the people that had a little backhand, like the hand that went back before it went forward, was enough to throw off their entire dog and their game. So he was really good at that technical, and he had a bunch of sort of immutable laws of a dog in motion and a handler, and he talked a lot about how our movement affects the dog and our path. And so that I come from that, and so I bring that to nose work. So, and then I also have done tracking, and so tracking and some handling. And the reason I started really thinking about this new seminar, which is about, people are always like, oh, it's your handling system. No, it's natural movement, like what it's what you're saying to your dog, whether you like it or not. Yeah. It's not like a Sternberg. No, it's the laws of motion and movement and body language. Right.
So there's this. I want to give you this because I thought it was really brilliant. And this is going to be offensive to some people, but there's this idea that if we destroyed all of our math books today, we burnt them all down, in 1,000 years they'd all be written again because they're the immutable laws of reality. So that's kind of what you're talking about. It's like, this isn't, if you die and your knowledge is lost, it'll be rediscovered because these are the laws of movement.
This is what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but what I kept hearing, especially going into elite, people would say, well, at NW 1, 2, and 3, you can just follow your dog around and he'll bump into odor and you can get your titles. So once you get to elite, you're going to have to like step up and be more of a handler. And at first I was like, okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna do that. And then I volunteered all these trials, NW 1, 2, and 3, and I'd be like, where are all these people who are following their dogs around? Because people do not follow their dogs around. They are leading and taking over in completely random, confusing ways. And so first of all, I was like, well, it would be one thing if people did follow their dogs around, because I think that at least benefits the dog. Yeah. And so I started asking for videos, looking at videos, slowing it down, and applying the laws of movement and motion to nose work, and that's what I do when I do these presentations. Dana's in. And if you guys don't know her here in the Midwest, I mean, I think everyone's from all over on the Patreon site.
Yeah, if you don't know, she's one of, wasn't she the first Nationals winner ever?
Yeah, she won the Nationals in 2014, I think. Yeah. She's like a founding instructor.
Yeah, she's great.
She's brilliant. She's brilliant not just in handling, she's brilliant in dog training, and she's brilliant as a teacher of people, but she's really brilliant. And she gave a talk at Texas camp in the evening, and the whole talk I was there like, yes! Oh my God, and I went to talk to her afterwards, and I was like, that's such important stuff. And so we started talking about it, and we were coming to this same place, two different things. So anyway, we do these weekend workshops, and I start by showing videos, and I show videos of agility, and I'll show what happens when the handler is saying one thing, body language, to their dog, and the dog follows it, but the handler meant to say something else, thought they said something else, and they deflate or they make their dog do it again. And I started, so I have videos of like how dogs experience stress in agility from handling flaws, and again, like in agility, it's very obvious it's a speed sport, and so you'll see that there are many dogs who, over time, with enough slow little mistakes, will get slower and slower. It's a slow process, right? So like over 6 months, you're like, my dog is crawling around the course. And I think speed of the dog is less obvious or visible in nose work.
Yeah.
But I think the same things happen. Like I think handlers who take over a lot, it chips away at the dog's confidence if they haven't had enough independence and if you haven't put enough in the bank of, independence. And then I think the dog slows down a little bit, so the handler says, well, I've got to pull him around and get him places because he's not fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, every dog should be fast. And I'm not talking about like moving like fast. I'm talking about like moving at the top of his game and eagerly, right? So a 14-year-old arthritic lab is not going to leap around and race, but that dog should be moving at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Your dog should be able to move through a nosework search with the enthusiasm, joy, and speed that he's capable of physically. But anyway, so I bring all that stuff. Somebody who was recently, I think it was Peg Munvies, who was at my workshop.
Yeah, she mentioned it to me.
I think it was her. Said she mentioned the workshop to a friend who does agility, who said that, she's sort of teaching us how to be the dog and in nose work and have the dog be our handler. And it's true. Like that was an amazing thing. But anyway, I'm a big advocate for, I think foundation training for a dog, the dog should be independent, should be, obviously you have to have training sessions and you have to make your mistakes and you have to practice mistakes with the dog. But I think every time we thwart the dog, we make a decision for him, it just chips away at him. And I think most people do not put enough independence in the bank before they start chipping away. And I think that can affect speed. It's a fun workshop. So like I have videos of like human stuff. So I have this video of I don't want to give it away, but there's all these people milling about with like signs at the bottom of an escalator, and there's no audio. And I say to the people watching, "What do you think's happening? What do you think they're all doing?" And inevitably, everyone's like, "Oh, I think they're waiting for somebody at an airport," and they are. And I'm like, "Well, what made you think that they are waiting for somebody?" And it's like, "Well, they're milling about and they're like checking." And so there's all this body language stuff. It means something.
Yeah.
And so, like in nose work, when I first started asking about handling, a lot of the advice was never stop moving your feet.
Yeah.
If you stop moving your feet, you're going to sell the dog on a hide. And so, like, if you Google it, you'll see all these people, like, they never stop moving their feet. They're doing this, like, superfluous movement. And I'm like, so if you just move your feet, it looks like you're have to pee and you're waiting online in a bathroom that's occupied. Like, moving your feet is impatience. Moving your feet and moving your body is saying to the dog, come on, let's go. No, let's go this way. At the time when he's trying to source, like, that's so rude. So I think, like, a lot of what we're told to do body language-wise is saying to the dog, no, don't source, leave, or hurry up, which is so rude, right? Like, I want you to source. I want you to get to source. It's the very most important thing, but tick-tock, Yeah. So anyway, I do a lot of that. So I show agility, but then I talk about, like, there are 3, like, things to do. When the dog is on a line and on a mission for odor, you follow behind him. If he starts to arc or drift, you stop moving your feet and you pie plate and let him sweep. And once he gets a line, you start moving again. And I am all for, if I think my dog is detailing and going to source, I am going to square off and I'm going to stop moving my feet. If that causes my dog to alert, that's a training problem. That should be fixed. Just fix it. It's so easy. Just fix it. Excise it out. Say, I've got a problem. But, like, out of respect for my dog, she's, like, finally zeroing in. She's trying to get precise, which is what I've asked her and trained her to do.
Yeah.
I want to be there. And, again, my dog doesn't look back as an alert. I'm waiting for her to find source. Mm-hmm. So if it's pooling and I'm squared off and there isn't source, she's just going to keep searching. Yeah. And it's up to me then to broaden out and move out. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing. Dana and I have been doing it. Dana does the working teams. I do video, and auditors send in trial videos, so I do analysis.
Oh, very cool.
Very intimidating for people. I try to make it nice. Yes. And the funny thing is, like, after the first couple of hours, everyone can just analyze their own videos, because it's not rocket science. This is the laws of movement. Like,
Yeah.
this is what you're saying to your dog. So anyway, it's really fun.